Good evening and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is 90 News Hour on Times Now. I am Ankit Tyagi. Today, Times Now SIT has dug up piles of evidence that show that the action-reaction theory, which was being peddled right from the beginning, as soon, in fact, as the violence broke out in Jahangirpuri area on Saturday evening, that completely has been at least demolished with what we have unearthed. Before we move on, let me draw your attention to these two videos, and we have many other videos as well. On the left hand of your screens, video of procession crossing the mosque. Now, there was no provocation, and why I'm saying that, because when you see the stone pelting, when you see the stampede, it is the fag end of this procession which came under heavy stone pelting. Few people even standing on top of that mosque. Attempts to hoist the saffron flag when all these theories were coming up. When all of these theories are put under the scanner of these videos, you clearly see that the attack was from behind. Stone pelting started on the fag end of this yatra. On the right-hand corner of your screen is another video, the video of ambush. Watch how the mob, armed with sticks, stones, glass bottles, targeted the Hanuman Jayanti Shobha Yatra. And this too from behind. The whole attempt on this intersection was to try and sandwich the devotees in the yatra from at least three sides and inflict maximum damage. Let me very quickly just go across to my colleague Priyank, who is joining us, who has had the access to these videos which you are seeing on your screens right now. Now, Priyank, these are very, very important piece of evidence which will help the police to piece together the entire sequence of events and what actually led. Who threw the first stone will be important evidence as far as these videos come out.
Yeah, definitely, Ankit. This is the most lynching evidence which we have been talking about since 3 days. So far, we had theories and anti-theories which were certainly pointing out that there were a group of individuals who were part of this religious procession who tried to enter this mosque. But if you look at the visuals very clearly, although there are armed men who are having these saffron color stool over their shoulder and they're moving from the front of the mosque, but no one actually, Ankit, entered or attempted to enter inside the mosque. In fact, one of the boys started running, and it was the tail end of this particular procession which came under heavy stone pelting, and what happened after that has been shown by us in sequence of visuals. Right. What I can tell you that we have been looking for this video so that we can actually get to know that what exactly happened. None of the sequence of the incident shows that men tried to enter the mosque. In fact, the stone pelting started happening from the backside, and what happened after that has been shown by us in multiple videos.
Priyank, thank you for joining us at this moment and bringing us all the details on these two very crucial videos which now completely lay bare the entire theory that there was an attempt, in fact, to desecrate the mosque. These kind of rumors, ladies and gentlemen, only started after, in fact, this entire violence for more than 1 hour took place in Jahangirpuri. Priyank, thanks for joining us. But ladies and gentlemen, despite mounting evidence, though the police right now is in the process of investigating, and there will be many others, those who will possibly be arrested as far as the investigation goes. But the political parties and the apologists are already at work, busting the procession-provoked propaganda theory by these videos. The Congress, despite that, a Congress Neta and spokesperson has pinned the blame on the Hindus for carrying out the procession. Lecturing Hindus, Congress spokesperson Pawan Khera said, "Don't take faith out onto the streets." According to him, faith should be displayed at home and kept in the heart. Well, many would not disagree with this, but the fact is Mr. Khera being selective while he, in fact, comes out and preaches? Why is the same standard not utilized by Mr. Khera when there are people, in fact, walking with other religious symbols on the roads, when there are namaz being offered on the road? But It's only when it comes to the Hindu festivals and processions. Now the Bharatiya Janata Party is hitting out at the Congress and asking, why is the Congress silent on the procession carried out by Muslims but fumes only when Hindus come out for the same?
ये मैं हूँ, ये मेरे हनुमान जी है, मेरा घर है और मेरी आस्था है. मैं अपनी आस्था अपने घर और अपने मन में रखता हूँ, सड़क पर नहीं ले जाता.
The Congress party of Mahatma Gandhi and Lokmanya Tilak were the ones who advocated for Sarvajanik Ganesh Utsav. But today, under Sonia Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi, the Congress party has perhaps shifted from Ram culture to a Rome culture.
NewsHour at 10, debate number 1 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
All right, joining me on the broadcast at this moment, Sanju Verma, spokesperson of the Bharatiya Janata Party. We have Shriraj Nair from the VHP. We also have Kamruzzuman Chowdhury. He's the leader from the Congress party. Gokul Chandran, political analyst, is also with us this evening. Vivek, Srivastav, political analyst, also joining us on the News Hour. I want to start with you, Mr. Chowdhury. Mr. Pawan Verma, very calm, and in that video there was a Hanuman statue also behind him, giving us the lecture that the fate should be personal. So the only question is that it was in context to what happened in Jahangirpuri. There was an attempt to, even before the investigation, to say that it was because people tried to enter the mosque, there was provocation. The police is investigating the matter. While Mr. Pawan Khera comes out and blames Hindus for this violence, does he forget that there are people from other religions also who display their religious identity very, very openly? There are yatras, there are processions taken out by almost every religion, along with Hindus as well.
Ankit, yeah, I got your point. Ankit, a very good evening to all of you. First of all, what Pawan Khera ji said was from his own religious point of view. He being a Hindu, he depicted his Lord Hanuman and said his comments. Me being a Muslim from the Congress party, I say, and I quote from the Quran, it says clearly, to you your religion, to me my religion. Even the Constitution of India says that we do not differentiate on the basis of the religion. Peaceful coexistence, respect and mutual respect for each religion. Now the question that happened in Jahangirpuri, what was the narrative that was being set up in the first place? The narrative that was, it was almost diabolical, that you wanted to set up a narrative wherein you wanted to indict the Muslims for all that was happening. Now all this collapsed when the Aam Aadmi Party and the Bharatiya Janata Party tried to pin the blame on Ansar.
Wasn't the narrative that the violence started because there were Hindus who were trying to put a flag on top of the mosque? That narrative not only has been completely dismissed by the Delhi Police Commissioner, but at least with the videos which have been put out, sir, it doesn't seem to be the case. There is a procession going in front of the mosque, and it's the tail end of that mosque which is being attacked.
We are nobody to be judgmental on this particular sensitive issue, please.
You are absolutely right, but is the Delhi Police Commissioner who is heading the investigation and nobody, sir, who said that there is zero evidence to suggest that theory? Or is the Congress the judge, jury and executioner here?
You are bringing out a theory a minute. No, Ankit, you are bringing out a theory a minute and you are proving one theory wrong than the previous theory. You are even contradicting yourselves on every theory.
How, sir?
You said that, okay.
I would be very much interested in knowing how.
What Ansar? Ansar was responsible for this. Now, who is Ansar? Who is Ansar? Ansar seems to be from the Aam Aadmi Party. Ansar seems to be from the Bharatiya Janata Party. That was the theory that was going on. Then you brought out the Bangladeshi Bengalis angle out here. Then who are
Sir, first of all, Mr. Chowdhury, I'm sorry, I did not bring out any theory. It is all these based on the videos that we have access. And number two, the limited point that we were trying to make by what Mr. Pawan Khera had said, it is a Congress spokesperson who is coming out and making these comments, being very selective. Isn't it, Sanju Verma? Isn't Pawan Khera being selective when he tries to put the onus on the Hindus, while the videos are very clearly showing that it was Hindus who came under attack? Right, the fag end of this yatra was pelted by stones.
You know, Ankit, I have not interrupted Mr. Chowdhury. I hope he'll extend me the courtesy. First and foremost, let's get this very clear that the aggressor, the perpetrator, the oppressor, be it the Karoli riot, of Rajasthan, be it the Khambat riots in Gujarat, be it Raichur in Karnataka, be it, Lohardaga in Jharkhand, everywhere. It is not majoritarianism that is the problem. The problem is minoritism. I simply want to ask one thing. While the jury is still out on who engineered the Jahangirpuri riot, the fact of the matter is that all 14, the key accused belong to one particular community, and I name that community as radical Islamists. Who is it? Who is the prime accused in the Karoli riot? It's a man
there
called
are no radical Islamists there.
Ma'am, Sanju Verma.
Who created them?
Okay, hold on. Let her complete her argument. I have some questions for her as well. I will ask those questions once she in fact completes her opening argument. Sanju Verma, go ahead.
Yes.
Thank you, Ankit. Matloob Ahmed, the prime accused in the Karoli riot, Ankit, is still on the run. The riots in Karoli happened on the 2nd of April, 2022. More than 15 days have gone by, and Ashok Gehlot government, despite the fact that law and order is a safe subject, what does he say? Modi or Amit Shah to jab देखो Hindu-Muslim karte hain. So let me just quickly, I'll wrap up in 20 seconds, Ankit. Be it the Hashimpura riots of 1987, be it the Bhagalpur riots of 1989, be it the Aligarh riots of 2006, be it the Dhule riots of 2010, be it the Pokrajhar riots of 2012,
right,
or for that matter, the Muzaffarnagar riots of 2013.
But Sanju Verma,
all that happened under the watchful eyes of
Sanju Verma, you quoted and you said that there are people from one community, those who are the prime accused as far as this case is concerned. Ma'am, just for your benefit as well, there are at least 5 other accused, and their names are Suraj, Neeraj, Suken, Suresh, Sujit, those who are also from a different community. The fact of the matter is, madam, the third rally which was taken out on that evening did not have any permission. Should that be not taken as a provocation? Should not that be taken as some possible design, possibly to engineer some sort of tension?
Ankit, that's a very nice question. My simple answer is this. People who have taken out a rally without permission, whether they are from the Bajrang Dal or the VHP, they need to be, tried under the relevant sections of law. I'm not going to sit here and say what they did was right.
Right.
What I find very, very surprising, Ankit, I'll take 10 seconds. There is no sense of proportion. You are actually saying people who took out a rally without permission, it is the same thing as people who attack policemen with machetes, swords, pickles and guns. I mean, how can you draw false equivalence? You named a few people from the Hindu community, but the prime accused who've been booked under the National Security Act,
absolutely,
Dilshad, Salim Chikla, Sonu Chikla, Ansar Ahid, are all radicalized Islamists.
Well, the police investigation is on as far as this case is concerned. But Mr. Vivek Srivastav, this entire theory that, look, there was provocation, at least the videos that are coming out, sir, that completely lay bare the truth that at least in this, at least in the videos that we can see, it was the fag end of that rally which was attacked. There wasn't any provocation or at least anybody trying to enter the mosque. So when Mr. Pawan Khera comes out and preaches, sir, isn't he being absolutely biased? Why is he not making any comment on those who go out on the streets and offer namaz?
I endorse every word of what Mr. Pawan Khera has said. It's a very matured statement, number one. Number two, my party has branches in Jahangirpuri. 17th morning in the day, I rushed to Jahangirpuri with the whole contingent of left people. Our delegation went, and we were in C block. We talked to people. I met the Muslims. I met my Hindu comrades over there, and I asked them what is the truth. And the truth of the matter was there was a heavy provocation. These Muslim boys who have been arrested, including Ansars, are anti-social elements. और एक दिन पहले वहाँ के बुजुर्ग मुसलमानों ने इनको धमकाया था don't dare to spoil the peace of this area. And even today, Ankit, if you visit Jahangirpuri, the Hindus and the Muslim neighbors are still peaceful with each other.
No, but you also agree that he's an antisocial element. You agree that this man has cases against him. You agree that there have been videos which clearly show that there was amassing of stones and bottles on top of houses. So why shouldn't this be called a preconceived conspiracy?
Yeah, listen to me now. Ankit, listen to me. Yes, I'll tell you why. Because there were 3 processions that day. The first 2 processions were welcomed, passed peacefully. There was no problem. The third one, without a permission, came. There was no police bandobast. We went to the DCP. We had a meeting with the DCP on 17th evening and we took him to task. And he said permission थी नहीं sir, इसलिए सिर्फ 2 ही लोग वहाँ पे गए थे. 2 ही constable, 2 piece.
Sir, permission nahi thi, that doesn't mean that it can be turned into a full riot. I mean, I understand, and people and those people have also been booked. But Mr. Gokul Chandran, is it for the Congress party, which now completely seems a lot of people are reading Mr. Pawan Khera's statement as the Congress trying to put the blame on the majority community?
Yeah, Ankit, I think you have a problem with understanding things of what Mr. Pawan Khera said. You need to learn something to how to decipher a tweet or a statement. I think you have to go back to your journalism classes.
Right.
What he has said is about secularism and Hinduism. No Hindu would want, no true Hindu would want.
Sir, I will possibly need to go back to journalism classes, and you possibly will have to go back and tell me, sir, who are you to decide who is true Hindu or who is not? And Mr. Pawan Khera, on your behalf, can decide a true Hindu will do X and true Hindu will not do Y.
Because that is a true Hindu. I am a true Hindu and I will decide that. Not someone like you who is trying to spark violences across the street. Okay, even today,
pass what across the street?
Ankit, you called me for a discussion on Pawan Khera's tweet or that statement video, and you are showing up all those videos and you are trying to justify one side.
I am only trying to show it to the Congress party and Mr. Pawan Khera along with you, sir, that look what has happened, Mr. Khera, when he comes out and gives a sermon about true Hindus like you are trying to give us. Please tell us those people, those who were attacked, whether their yatra had permission or not. Were they not Hindus?
Ankit, you are from that Hindutva gang. That's why you are not understanding what true Hinduism is. This is what true Hindu is. Don't enter into any other religious premises. Don't instigate don't provocate other.
Sir, but who entered which religious
Hinduism.
premises? The police commissioner of Delhi, and I'm sure you will call him from the Hindutva gang as well, he said there is nobody who tried to enter any premises.
We saw the videos. Even as Srivastav rightly pointed out, he doesn't have a clue about that procession. He doesn't know what happened in that procession. 2 policemen were escorting the procession, and he doesn't know what happened. And you want to justify.
Okay.
All other channels, all other media houses are show only one side. That is the problem. This is where problems
Sir, I don't know which media channels and shows that you go to, but it's great to get somebody defending the Congress party making such sweeping statements and then accusing the other side of doing the same, of making sweeping statements of showing one side. Great to have you here, sir. Shriraj Nair, Sanju, I'm coming to you. Shriraj Nair of the VHP is also with us. The fact is, that allegation is that this rally which was taken out had no permission. What was the business of taking out this third rally when there was no permission from the district administration? Why shouldn't this be taken as some sort of a provocation of trying to provoke people? 2 rallies passed off without any problem. The third one possibly without any permission was specifically done, where there are videos of people going into this rally with swords in their hands, with guns in their hand. This could also be extremely provocative.
Absolutely not. See, there was no provocation at all. Now, as far as the permission is concerned, let me tell you very clearly, I am a VSP functionary for almost 2 decades. the way the permission is sought, any kind of procession or Shobha Yatra or Rath Yatra which is undertaken, information is given to the police and it is stamped and taken back. So this is not the not the only Shobha Yatra which took place. For years together, Shobha Yatras has been a part of the Hindu culture. And the other part you are talking about swords, they are all symbolic swords or gadas or trishuls.
Sir, there are people, young boys with pistols. Is that a symbolic pistol?
Listen.
And the police is also on the hunt for that person who was carrying those arms.
Has been a part of radical. Listen, Ankit, let me complete. But stone pelting is a part of Islamic radical phenomenon. It is happening from Sweden to Israel to Palestine to Kashmir, and for years together it is happening. It has been happening. I was brought up in Gujarat. There was a word called Patthar Maro. It has been happening, and this was unprovoked. From mosque, most of the mosque and madrasas illegally are constructed. And
Mr. Chowdhury wants to reply. Mr. Chowdhury wants to reply. Sanju also wants to come in. Mr. Chowdhury, reply to what Mr. Nair is saying. Mr. Nair doesn't believe that gun that people were holding was a provocation. Go ahead, Mr. Chowdhury.
And Mr. Pawan Khera. Now I'll take 30. Please.
Yeah, the basic point is that this man from Vishwa Hindu Parishad, when he says that we do not need to take any permission from the police, we have only submitted a for your information letter. This is the arrogance of the Vishwa Hindu Parishad. This is the arrogance that the India is fighting against. They do not want to apply for permission. And most importantly, Ankit, please do not dilute the entire issue by saying that VHP is at fault because they did not take a permission. The question of the permission, whether they have taken, whether they have got or not, is not so important as of now. The question is, when the VHP goons were roaming the streets, then why did they carry the firearms? Why did they carry the trishuls? Why did they carry hockey sticks, baseball bats? What was their intention in the first place? When the people
Sanju
were
Verma
from the VHP.
Okay, let Sanju Verma come in. Let Sanju Verma come in. Mr. Chowdhury, Sanju Verma, you heard what Mr. Chowdhury is saying. He seems to suggest that this was also part, and this has been, why were people in the Shobha Yatras, why were they carrying arms?
And the pseudo-liberals.
May I please, I did not interrupt anybody. Thank you. Ankit, what I find absolutely, unpardonable is this blatant attempt to first engage in violence, attack a police force with machetes, guns, question the faith of Hindus and why they have the audacity to celebrate Ram Navami and Hanuman Jayanti and dance and sing through Muslim-dominated areas. Aaj tak, whenever riots have happened, Mumbai riots, 26/11, Malegaon blast, Bangalore Chinnaswamy Stadium blast, Pune bakery blast, what have you and me been told, Ankit? Terror has no religion. Terror has no religion is what we are told.
Nelly massacre.
Can I please finish? Ankit, either you moderate the debate or I'm not speaking.
Don't speak about the riots.
Sir, I'll give you time to respond to what she's saying. Sanju Verma, complete your point. Complete your point, then we'll get Mr. Chowdhury to respond.
I will not speak if Mr. Chowdhury continues with his heckling.
He's not doing that. Go ahead.
All this while, when Charlie Hebdo attacked, these radical jihadis said, terror has no religion. When the Brussels bombing happened, these jihadis told us terror has no religion. When Mecca, Medina bombing happened, these jihadis told us terror has no religion. When 26/11 happened, they said terror has no religion. When people, our soldiers are killed in Jammu and Kashmir by radical Islamists, this entire Hathras lobby says terror has no religion. But when Matloob Ahmed, a radical Islamist, is on the run in Karoli riots, they say, oh,
but Sanju Verma,
he's being victimized because he's a Muslim. Let me finish. Let me complete in 10 seconds.
No, but while you're making your argument, you keep saying these jihadis. Are you trying to brush an entire community? I mean, what I'm trying to understand is, while you make this argument of these jihadis, who are these jihadis? There are people, those who have been perpetrating terror. Of course, they should be booked. Who are the other people that you are calling these jihadis?
I think, Ankit, again, that's a very smart question, and I don't think you're being tricky. When I say these jihadis, I mean those jihadis who first indulge in aggression, in violence, and then say, मैं डरा हुआ मुसलमान हूँ, मुझे victimize किया जा रहा है because I am a Musliman. I am talking of these jihadis who have a Janus face.
So when you say that, Ms. Verma, that the terror, I mean, you are saying that terror has religion, right? Is that the argument?
Of course it does. Of course it does. And let me tell you one very interesting
So one of your
thing.
MP is still not being given a clean sheet. So the other side would also call that that terror possibly would also have religion. They will also have color.
Okay, Ankit Tyagi, let me tell you one thing very clear.
Go ahead.
One swallow does not a summer make. If you are talking about Sadhvi Pragya, then I want to ask you about Matlub Ahmed. I want to ask you about Hafiz Saeed. I want to ask you about the fact that, please, 9 out of 10 terror organizations in the world,
okay,
the United States says, you know what? The United Nations says, pardon me, it says 9 out of 10 terror organizations in the world have a Muslim DNA.
Okay.
Read the latest UN report.
Yeah, so you are making an exception. Even if there is one terror organization or anybody else from a different religion, you are making that exception. But very quickly, and in the end, I just want to understand from you, Vivek Srivastav, the fact is, and this is the basic argument that I want your comments on. When you say that religion should be off the street, it should be your personal business, should that not apply equally to every religion? Then there should not be any namaz on the street. If one procession is banned for Hindus, then the procession should also be banned for Muslims. It should be for Sikhs, also for Christians as well. It should be applied equally across religions, isn't it?
Ankit, pseudo-liberals like
and I will simply say that you let us speak
Gokul,
and put forth our own views. Thanks a lot for that. Now, as far as this is concerned, okay, anybody who wants to take a procession, even if it is Hanuman Jayanti, please go ahead. Take a proper permission. Don't take arms. A sword which is below 5 inches of length is allowed. Take that if you want to take. Let the police take care of the law and order situation. Everything has been happening in this nation for years peacefully. There have been stray incidences, but this nation has been praised by the Russians, the Americans, the Europeans, who say that there is so much of diversity in this country.
I have to move on, but very quickly, on what basis are you saying that everything has been happening in this nation peacefully? The NCRB data says till 90s, there were almost every decade had more than 1 lakh cases of religious violence, which has come down to 70 to 80,000. So how are you saying that everything was happening so peacefully before?
No, see, you have to understand one thing. Today you have the internet, today you have mobile phones, today the technology is more, you have the satellite, there are so many things. So today the management should be more. However, the social fabric of this country was always intact, believe me.
I have to. Thank you, gentlemen, and Sanju Verma and lady for joining me on this debate number 1 of NewsHour. I have to move on to our other, in fact, debate. And